Why is HCG like one of the single most effective things for libido and erections for guys that are on TRT and guys that aren't on TRT? Let's talk about it because, you know, although HCG has the capacity to raise your estrogen and that could mess up a TRT protocol, or it could actually put your estrogen right in the right place depending on your AI usage or, you know, your general tolerance of estradiol. It's also the case that HCG tends to have a libido, sensation, erection quality, enlivening property to it, which is literally second to none. I mean, nothing else touches it besides perhaps Proviron. So let's discuss why HCG is so effective for libido and erections and for the sexual optimization part of TRT for folks on testosterone and for people that aren't on testosterone, as well as what I think the best doses are to prevent excess aromatization and have a protocol that is super dialed in. All right, you guys know the deal. What supports this channel are epic nootropic products. Just launched Supercharged Dopamine. It's a video course teaching you the holy grail of true dopamine hacking. Nootropics Mastery, that's a nootropics course. Now, we run these like twice a year, and this is one of those times for December and the holidays. We're running a buy one, get one free on the Torque Nootropic stack literally right now. The code for that is TorqueBOGO. All right, that's all you need to do. Go to livecortex.com, enter the coupon code TorqueBOGO. After you've added bottles to your cart, get buy one, get one free Torque Nootropic stack. Okay, so the bottom line here is that HCG, or human chorionic gonadotropin, mimics your own inborn LH. That's luteinizing hormone. And what it does, if you administer it exogenously, is enliven the testicles to pump out more testosterone. I mean, it's one of the most effective, like, you know, singular monotherapy strategies, like in and of itself without TRT, that a guy that's hypogonadal or low testosterone can do that will immediately be pretty effective. Now, guys that are on TRT, exogenous testosterone, there is something with exogenous testosterone, especially as it shuts down your intratesticular testosterone production and thus some of that neurosteroid production, that just doesn't, no matter the protocol, allow people to have dialed in, you know, TRT protocols in terms of libido and erection quality. And look, you know, some of these guys can change the ester, like get something like testosterone propionate. A lot of these situations are just a bad protocol where the estradiol isn't dialed in or stable. I mean, people could have problems converting testosterone to DHT. There's all kinds of reasons why a protocol wouldn't give you sexual function. But I mean, there's guys that dial all that in and still require HCG. They just need functional balls on exogenous testosterone to get the sexual benefits. In the testosterone subreddit, I mean, there are posts about this literally everywhere. This one titled HCG and Libido, where guys basically asking would HCG have an effect on libido, and guys are in the comment section like, I am on HCG primary treatment and on daily dosing. I get ridiculously goddamn horny about 3 hours after using it. Another guy, and this is a major point, goes, HCG spikes my libido but increased my E2 a lot. So estrogen. I used an AI now to compensate. Now that's a tricky one because, again, HCG will do that. You really got to get super lean, don't drink a lot of alcohol, don't consume cannabis, and do everything you can to prevent aromatization. And the E2 spike shouldn't really be significant. I mean, they're certainly not for me. This post, is it normal for HCG to make your libido skyrocket? Guy goes, I started HCG about 2 months ago and now have the horniness of a teenager. It's almost like you can feel your balls come alive, if that makes any sense. It's quite ridiculous that I can't even do my job without thinking about sex all the time. Has anyone else experienced this? Brother, yes. You know, and you got some funny comments. For some people, yes, very much. This guy, when fluids build up in a confined space, they will want to be released. This guy goes, the first time I switched from Clomid to HCG mono, which is just HCG monotherapy, meaning no exogenous testosterone, no TRT, just HCG. He goes, it was like rocket fuel. Another comment, HCG always boosted my libido along with the test. It was always better than being off of it. It might take some time for some people, but I noticed it within a week or two. Again, we're going to get the timelines in just a second. Now, look, there are whole scientific studies on this, specifically in HCG monotherapy, which show drastic improvements. I mean, we're talking about, what is this, 86% for erectile dysfunction and 80% in libido. It's like, you know, why the hell is this happening? Well, for one, the scientific literature tells us that you get more 5-alpha reductase activity in Leydig cells from taking HCG. So that really means that you're converting more of your testosterone to DHT or dihydrotestosterone, which is pretty useful for enhancing libido. But obviously, you're also going to increase the amount and release of DHEA and pregnenolone, which also means downstream subsequent hormones too.
Binding initiates a cascade of events, which include the conversion of cholesterol, depicted as LDL here, to pregnenolone, followed by a series of reactions, which convert pregnenolone to testosterone.
Like, just as a result of having more pregnenolone, you're going to have more cortisol, you're going to have more progesterone as well. I mean, this stuff matters when it comes to hormone balance and especially libido. But there is something to say about the enhanced intratesticular blood flow and the whole kind of pelvic region blood flow that enhances both libido and sensitivity. I mean, sensation is usually a blood flow and nerve issue. If you got more blood flow, you get better sensation. You know that the HCG is helping blood flow. There's something to say for, while you're on exogenous testosterone and allowing that testosterone to bind to androgen receptors in certain tissues, like you become, pretty anabolic on testosterone, that at the same time, your inborn, innate, endogenous intratesticular testosterone may in fact have a different effect depending on which receptors it's binding to in terms of libido and erection quality. So let's quickly talk about doses. So this is for a guy that's on TRT, and then I guess I'll break down, people that aren't on TRT in a second. Look, HCG will make you aromatize more because in addition to the DHA and pregnenolone and upregulating intratesticular testosterone, you're also going to upregulate intratesticular aromatase, and that's the enzyme that converts testosterone into estrogen. Okay, so like you're almost definitely going to make more estrogen being on HCG than not on HCG. But the best way to counter this, again, in addition to being lean, not consuming a lot of alcohol and cannabis, and making sure your diet is straight so that you don't aromatize a whole lot, is the minimum effective dose of HCG, which I have capitalized basically or bolded on top, which is 700 IU a week. Okay. And that's split up into everyday injections of 100 IU of HCG every day. I mean, if you want to get the benefits of intratesticular testosterone, the subsequent neurosteroids and all their kind of downstream hormones, and you don't want to aromatize loads, then your best bet is to stick with 700 IU a week of HCG in addition to your TRT protocol. Now, some guys, like say your testosterone protocol is 150 milligrams a week, and then you've got your 700 IU HCG, that might take your E2 to like 50. It's possible that might do that. Now that's above range for most ranges. There are actually ranges that consider 50 to be okay, or at least the high end of the reference range. And if that's bothering you and giving you some sexual dysfunction at any capacity, then the best bet is to keep the HCG dose the same, but to lower the testosterone dose. So, if E2 is troublesome, take TRT down to, just try 130. Try 130. See, give it 3-4 weeks, see where it balances out. It's probably going to be 40, 42, maybe 45. In which case, maybe you want to take it down a little bit further. Take it down to 120. If you're at 120 and then plus your 700 IU HCG a week, then your E2 is probably going to land in a reasonably balanced range where you're going to feel good and have libido, erections, and no negative side effects. Now, secondarily, though, I have 1,000 IUs a week here because there are men that can tolerate that. Now, again, it all depends on your TRT dose. If you're sitting at 110, 120 milligrams testosterone per week, you'll probably be able to handle 1,000 IU HCG because, again, the extra aromatization isn't going to be enough to put you over range so significantly that it messes everything up and gives you side effects. Like, so, if you are on 110 milligrams TRT a week, you could get away with 1,000 IU HCG per week with it. And you're probably you'll aromatize more than not on HCG, but you're really only going to probably, like in that particular case, land in the 35 to at the very highest, I would call it 45 picograms per milliliter range. That's assuming, though, if I can type this, assuming you are controlling for aromatization in your diet and in terms of your body composition and body fat. Now, this is important. I think HCG should be injected daily. I've seen the most success with that for getting the best bang for your buck, meaning keeping the testicles functioning, increasing libido and erection quality and blood flow and sensation, but at the same time, not, triggering massive peaks in estradiol or any hormone so that you stay relatively balanced. You don't get this crazy acne as a result of having it. and then you're just very stable. You're just very, very stable on everyday injections of HCG. Now, this is a post in Reddit that goes, how long for HCG to raise libido? 3 weeks and so far no effects yet. I don't know what this guy's like background is. He's basically saying I feel zero difference yet. Now, in 3 weeks of HCG, it would really depend on how downregulated all the intratesticular testosterone, aromatase, and other neurosteroid production is. I mean, if it's just dead, which by the way is an unnatural state to be completely shut down. That's why I think HCG is pretty critical for most TRT protocols. But like that might take a month. It might take a month and a half to level everything out and for the hormones to come back in the right range and to balance out where you get libido and erection quality back. But if you're used to taking HCG and you're not significantly shut down, and the two examples would be you just got on TRT, you're in that honeymoon phase and you feel fucking awesome and everything's literally perfect, and then you get out of the honeymoon phase because estrogen probably went too high and you got shut down intratesticularly, well, then you were only recently, it's like you just recently shut down. Like, you recently had intratesticular testosterone right before you started TRT. So at that point, going on HCG, probably within 2 weeks or so, you're going to have all the libido and erection quality back. But the second example is somebody that is on TRT and is on HCG, but decides to go off HCG. Like maybe they ran out, or maybe they just decided they wanted to see if they can remove it and lower estrogen for a month or two. In that case, guys are usually going to find libido is lower or less, and erection quality as well. Might not be terrible, might still be fine, but I mean, that HCG libido is something else. And then them adding HCG back into the picture at 700 IU a week or so, I mean, within a week, sensation is going to be better, libido is going to be better, erection quality is going to be better. May not be where it's going to go, which is significantly better. It might just be like here, right? But it's going to go here, and that'll probably reach that higher threshold at like week 2, week 3, because again, you were only shut down for a brief period of time. Quickly, I wanted to talk about so lastly, we'll talk about HCG monotherapy. In my opinion, 2,000 to 2,500 IU per week split up into everyday injections is probably the best protocol for HCG monotherapy. Some people can get away with, $399, 3,000, to 3,500. Was that 3,500 IU per week, and they'll aromatize more, obviously, and that may take some time to get used to. Like, you might think I'm having estrogenic symptoms and this sucks and this is a bad protocol, but that might take a month to actually just balance out, and you end up being fine with estradiol right around 40 or so. So it's going to be different for different people, but the most effective, minimum effective dose for monotherapy that I've seen is between 2,000 and 2,500 IU per week, split up again into everyday injections, and some guys are going to be able to get away with higher. You'll end up making more testosterone as well at 3,000 to 3,500 IU per week. But look, the bottom line is, I mean, there is, again, besides Proviron and some other stuff like maybe some dopamine hacking, there's no better way to enhance libido on TRT than HCG, considering, your protocol is dialed in. All right, guys, look, as I said in the beginning, the Torque Nootropic stack right now is buy one, get one free. We run these twice a year. The code for that is Torque BOGO. You add a bottle to your cart, you punch the code in at checkout, and it'll literally have 2 bottles for the price of 1 bottle of the Torque Nootropic stack. I mean, this is fire. It's like, think of what people pay for Adderall and what Adderall does side effect wise. Imagine having something comparable that doesn't have the side effects, that gives you makes you lit up and have all day energy. That's what Torque is built for. Go buy it, livecortex.com. Down the description, go buy a bottle, get a bottle free. We discussed essentially TRT protocol modulation, and that's one of the major things that I do as a consultant and a coach. So if you need help on your protocol, you can literally hire me at livecortex.com, and I will be with you in less than 24 hours to get your protocol straight. All right, everybody, it's been a pleasure hanging out with you. Hope you have a great day. I'm going to talk to you next week.